Hello, everyone. It's me, Allison. The show is about to start, but just real fast, a quick reminder. I want to tell you guys, if you are doing some shopping, perhaps some Black Friday shopping, holiday shopping, etc.,
like Christmas type shopping,
any sort of shopping at all, I have put together some lists on Amazon.
Lists with things
stuff
on them?
Daniel, just pipe down for 1 second. Beauty stuff, makeup stuff, home stuff, kids stuff, podcast equipment, books I recommend, all of this stuff. And
Daniel's stuff?
Oh, yeah, Daniel's Corner, where I put stuff that I know that he likes. But Daniel has recently gotten way more involved, and he put together a special Christmas spectacular gift guide for you.
You guys will not even believe it. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what's on there, but it's literally some things.
Lots of things. And a whole big caption explaining his process. If you know
someone who's exactly like me, they are going to love it.
And here's where you go to see all of this. Amazon.com/shop/Allison Rosen. Amazon.com/shop/Allison Rosen.
And we'll be adding to it.
It's nonstop, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the show.
Bye.
You guys, I lied. I said the show was starting right now, but I have one more quick announcement. I'm co-hosting a new podcast. It's brand new. It's called Upworthy Weekly. I'm co-hosting it with a guy named Todd Perry, who I'm having so much fun with, although he is wrong about so many things, especially Christmas music, but also other stuff. But anyway, Upworthy Weekly, we come out on Saturdays. Please give it a listen, subscribe. If you like what you're hearing, leave us a comment, a review on Apple Podcasts. That helps out the show so much, especially because we are brand new. As I've said, between 1 and 4 times right now, I've lost track. But anyway, please give it a listen. It's a lighthearted news podcast. We're taking a look at the most popular and engaging stories from the week before that ran on Upworthy. And it's just what your holidays need. And then when we're past the holidays, it's just what that part of the year needs. It's just exactly what you need. Please listen to it. Upworthy Weekly, new episodes every Saturday, wherever you get your podcasts.
And now, live from Pod Cabin in Burbank, California, it's the Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend show. Tonight, Allison welcomes a guest. He's a comedian and man who's perfectly emotionally calibrated for this moment in time, which is to say, he can't stop screaming. It's David Huntsberger. And she's a producer and writer who's off getting mad rich off her bored Odie NFTs. It's Wendy Molyneux. Tone Zone is here to ask if it's okay to sign up to be your hero. I'm her husband Daniel, saying hop on board the love bus and say hello to your new best friend, Allison Rosen.
Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison with her the good times never end. Allison Rosen. Your new best friend.
Hello, my little Debbie Nutty Bars. It's me, Allison. Welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. That particular carbohydrate was sent in on Patreon. By Tom Bossong. Or is it Tom Bossong? I feel like it's Bossong. Tom, let me know. Anyway, yes, I'm on Patreon. You can get bonus episodes of my Patreon podcast, The Friend Zone. Just did an episode with Allie Ward. Before that, I had one with my Upworthy Weekly co-host, Todd Perry. We got to know him together. I did, before that, our own Tony Thaxton. But pretty much everyone you know from my show, there's probably a Patreon episode with them. And when you sign up, you get access to all those episodes. Also a level where you can text me and I'll text you back. There's also Zoom parties. You can submit carbohydrates. And if you sign up for a year, you get 2 months free. So it's 12 months for the price of 10. Anyway, I'm very excited to welcome back this group. It's been too long. Wendy Molyneux, hello.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
David Huntsberger, hello.
Hello. Nice to be back.
Good to see you. Daniel Quantz, hi.
Hi. It's nice to still be here.
And Tony, hello.
What's up, Al?
Okay. So what not everyone knows is that Tony and I have a little war brewing in terms of nicknames, because now, Wendy, I know everyone here knows that we've been trying to find a nickname for Tony, but he one day called himself the bad boy of podcasting. So now on my Monday shows, I always refer to him as the self-proclaimed, self-professed, self-anointed, etc. bad boy of podcasting. And so now he started calling me Al. And I was thinking about it. There are people in my life that I love who call me Al occasionally, but then there's Tony, who's just getting those Al's in, knowing it's not my favorite. And the reason it's not my favorite is because when I was a kid, sometimes, and I don't think this was a comment on my size. I think it was in addition to my size. They would call me Big Al.
That's not what I call you.
What?
That's not what I call you.
That's what I hear.
Well, that's on you.
So now self-professed bad boy of podcasting is just going to call me Al nonstop. It's okay. I just wanted to let everyone know.
Now, when Betty calls you, does she call you Al?
What?
When Betty calls you, does she call you Al?
When Betty calls me, does she call me Al?
From the song.
Come on.
From the song.
Come on,
You
Al.
can call
From
me
the
Al.
song.
Oh,
Thank you, Wendy.
Da, 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 da.
honestly, the only lyrics I know are bodyguard, long lost pal, you can call me Al.
I can call you Betty. And
Got
Betty
it.
when you call me.
You
Yeah.
can call me Al.
Well, you can call me Betty. Anyway, look, I'm just here trying to take you all through a scary haunted house of the mind. You can draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, draw your own conclusions.
It's not
That's
my
what
job.
comedy is. Comedy isn't here to be funny or entertain or connect with you. It is to take you through a scary mental
haunted house.
That's what everybody
you.
always says. You know what? I want to relax and go down the flappers and go through a demented mental haunted house.
Spooky
I
haunted
did
house.
that for
I don't want any
like a
goofs.
month. That was a
Yeah.
one-person show I did for like a month, and I had one of those long stem cigarette holders, and I would walk around on the stage and just kind of tear through emotional turmoil things I was dealing with, and then tap the cigarette and go, I don't know, you draw your own conclusions, you figure it out. And it was so poorly reviewed, but it's nice to hear that I was on the right track. I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Anything that's like nice and fun, people think is like, I told my kids this year, I was like, you think this is fucking Christmas? No, we're going through a spooky mental haunted house this morning.
Yeah.
You're not getting a
That's-
fucking truck. You're going in here.
That's the job of a Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
right.
the job of the job of a Santa Claus.
It's not-
is not
The job of a
to entertain
mom.
you.
The job of a mom is not to take care of you. It's not to make you feel safe. It's not to tuck you in. It's to take you through a spooky mental haunted house.
And let me tell you, one thing I definitely want from my comedians are people who take themselves very seriously.
Very
And not people who have an outlook on the world of not taking things too seriously. Do you know what I mean?
I don't want to
what I
be
want.
reminded of joy when I see I don't. Sometimes
No.
audiences think that they want to laugh, but they're wrong. They actually
If I'm not
wanna be
offended,
scared.
it's not funny.
You're so happy that I changed, because cigarette holder era, leather jacket, brooding. I mean, just angry. And yeah, it took me a while to come around. I still want to, I don't know. It's hard for me to fully give into silliness because I want to like make you feel bad. And, it's hard for me to pull back those reins a little bit.
Right. Right. Like if you're a victim of abuse, I want to challenge your boundaries. That's what I want to do as
I
For
just
anyone-
keep thinking of people showing up going, hi, I'm here for the Santa Claus position. Okay, well, I don't know if they described what you do, but
Your job. Oh man! And then on the other hand, when I go to see a serious dramatic play, I want some giggles. You know what I mean? If I'm at Flappers, I expect spooky mental haunted house disturbing. If I go to the Mark Taper Forum to see like the newest play popping off Broadway here in LA, get me giggling, please.
Yeah.
Equus,
You
very
want
funny.
a performer on stage who like looks to the crowd and breaks the wall and kind of like palms up, like I take nothing seriously. That is what I like. A little, just ease the tension a little.
That's my favorite part of Les Mis, when Jean Valjean looks at the audience and shrugs, like, you know, like Jim from The Office is what the reviews always say. In case anyone doesn't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I was just about to say, is your audience extremely online enough to know what this is all about?
This was, you know how they say there's like one main character on Twitter every day and you don't want to be the main character. In response to all the Joe Rogan of it all, Whitney Cummings tweeted this very... it was just like bait for being made fun of. Self-important tweet about like comedians didn't sign up to be your hero. The job of a comedian, our job is to be irreverent and something, and to take you through a spooky mental haunted house. And
I didn't know this was a reference to something.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, it was Whitney Cummings' tweet.
Oh yeah.
We as comedians didn't sign up to be your hero. Our job is to be irreverent and
By the way, they literally did. Some comedians literally do sign up
through a spooky mental haunted house, so you arrive at your own conclusions. And I mean, it was like the ratio, as they say. I mean, Mark Maron wrote back, you forgot to add to be fun. I mean, it was just nonstop all day. Anyway, moving on, let's get to the important stuff, which is we've got there's a lot of stuff we need to get to. I have a new thing that I hate and that I think people should be arrested for. This might require a hey, go fuck yourself, Tony. So I have now received 2 or 3 emails with the subject line, is everything okay? Now, I don't know how this would affect you guys, but when I see that, I like almost seize. I'm like, oh shit, did I forget to, because to me, is everything okay in a subject line is so aggressive, and it makes me go like, oh fuck, has someone tried to get in touch with me and I haven't responded to them? Is everything okay to me is like, are you mad at me? Which for some reason gives me a heart attack. I don't know why it makes me so nervous. And then I open up the email and it's this. Hi there. I just wanted to reach out and make sure your decorative trays arrive to your satisfaction. It's from an Amazon seller. That was one. Another one was wanting to see if I liked the candles because I haven't reviewed them yet. And then another one was wanting to see if I liked the shirt because I haven't reviewed it yet. So company, and that one said, is everything okay, Allison? So if you are part of a company and your social media team or whoever is handling this, your comm team says, we got to put, is everything okay in a subject line, I say to you,
hey, go fuck yourself.
Don't do it. It gets the attention of the customer, but it makes them, if they're me, hate you and think I never want to buy something from you ever again. Because you could have just said, are you enjoying your decorative tray? Or, do you like your shirt? Or is everything okay with your candle? But
What's
just,
funny,
is everything okay?
It's kind of passive aggressive. And
It is.
When I hear it, it makes me feel like I'm expected to have done this already.
Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm in trouble.
Yeah, like, is everything okay? You haven't reviewed this yet. Are we cool?
I
really hate it.
About how it used to be that you would just go like, and I'm not like, oh, I wish things were the way they used to be. And
that's you. That's what we all think.
That's me. I
Wendy,
try to embrace the present and future as far as I can. But one thing, I'm so sorry. My phone is ringing. I stopped it. So sorry. Was that on
That's
the tape?
okay. It might have been. Who was it?
Yeah. I don't know. Probably just, probably someone trying to get me to review some shoes.
Yeah.
I didn't answer the email. But the one thing I do miss is that you would just, if you purchase something, you bought it, no one ever knew, no one ever cared, and no one ever asked you about. I really, truly hate the review your thing.
Yes.
Emails. It's just like, if you're busy and you already have kids and a job and et cetera, even if you don't, it's like, no one wants this. Literally no one wants this.
Be added to their email list forever and ever. I actually just did something which I should have done a long time ago, which is I created an email address strictly for shopping websites. I haven't used it yet, but Thank you. Once I do, oh my goodness. Do you guys do this? Because my email is not well organized.
Yeah, I have a dump email that I use as like a backup, but and then I'm pretty diligent about unsubscribing. I'll give people like a couple chances, and then that's that, and I unsubscribe. I do.
Yeah,
think
you unsubscribe. You're unblocked, right?
Same.
I block most people, but then I unsubscribe.
No, I know. I've been trying to email you for
I get in there, and it's just an ice cave that I've built for myself, and there's just a sliver of light, and people can put a little piece of mail down, and I grab it and ravage it open and read it, and then I spit it out through the slot, and I wait 6 more months before I accept any mail. It's too much.
This particular booking has been years in the making.
Yeah.
It's
just deciding on the time took 8 months.
I've had a number of comedian friends kind of crest a hill. I don't know what you'd call it, like reach a level where people want to come up to them after the show and take pictures, and it's maddening to stand next to because virtually every person has to tell them why they like them. At least in that beginning stage where it's fun for them and it's new and they're kind of famous to them, and hey, I listen to you every day in the car, or hey, all of them. They'll hear someone else say it, and then they watch them leave, and they go over and shake hands and say exactly the same thing over and over.
At first, I hated you because I thought no one could replace Teresa, but now I like you.
But you get that, and like it's a weird thing that's kind of valuable. You know, sports teams watch the game over to figure out what they can do better. People that are selling things want to know. Like, what if they had no clue and people were on forums going, the handles break off these mugs.
Right.
They'd be like, tell us. So they start these review things where they can be like, we want to be our best. So there is value in that, but then it gets so overwhelming where everyone is like, oops, you forgot to take the survey. We'll remind you in about 15 hours. And again, it's too much. I'm with Wendy. It's too much.
I always think of it as when you're in Vegas and you're walking down the strip, and I don't know, I haven't been to Vegas for years. I'll confess I used to go all the time. The people who have to hit the pamphlet on their hand and then try to hand you like the nudie club pamphlet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I know, guys. I know where all the nudie clubs are. I don't need these pamphlets. But
hell yeah.
Where do you think I'm going, man? But like, it's that feeling of somebody trying to get your attention over and over and over. And you're only in Vegas for like 24, 48 hours. So you're like, whoo, I'm done. And now life has become that. And so I'm like, oh, no wonder all of us, because sometimes I go like, oh, there've been harder times in history. There've been, why is everyone seeming so stressed out? I mean, aside from COVID, and I think it's that it's this like constant it's a digital onslaught, and you're like, oh, then I should just put my phone down. But then like, if you don't text people back, they think you're being like, it's not as easy as just like, I'll just put it down and walk away, because now everyone kind of expects you to be in constant touch.
Yeah. It's a feeling of being behind 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love it. I don't love that either. But speaking of Wendy trying to embrace the present, even though we all know her favorite time in history was the 1950s, and I've talked to her about that, but she insists it was a simpler, better time.
The nuclear war. That was one of my big things. I love the threat of nuclear war, so I'm always like, oh, that must have been a great time.
Yeah, didn't you majored in nuclear war in college?
Nuclear war, yes. So if
she designed her own major.
I could probably start one, but that's a topic for another time. It's not as important as what we're about to get into.
Right. Wendy mentioned
something you were going to say.
Yeah, I was going to talk about where one parts their hair, because now, if you notice, my part, again, patreon.com/AllisonRosen, I forgot to mention, one of the big ticket items is you can see this very video right here of what we're recording. My hair is pretty far parted, pretty far on the side. And I don't know if you guys are all aware, but it was like a big kerfuffle earlier. I saw sometime in the last year or so that now all the cool people part their hair in the middle, the cool, hip, young people. Whereas the older people, which is funny, they were talking about millennials. Millennials are young to me. I'm a boomer. No, we're Gen X.
Gen Z are actually young.
Yeah. But they were saying like moms part their hair on the side and wear skinny jeans. So anyway, Wendy confessed that she's trying to get her part to the middle. Tell us everything, girlfriend.
Well, I just got my hair done over the weekend. And I said, could we try parting it in the middle? And we tried, and she was like, we kind of can. Like, you can't go all the way to the middle. It like can't happen somehow.
Like your hair
it's
won't
close.
allow it? I mean,
I
it
don't
looks
know.
good.
It just starts to, I don't know. It just like won't quite go right down the middle.
You've just got boomer hair.
Huh?
No.
You've got boomer hair.
Take that
Boomer
back.
hair? What do you mean?
It won't go down the middle. It's not.
No, I'm saying it's closer now, Daniel.
I think he's making some kind of political joke that I don't get.
No, I'm just talking about.
But I'm
what you were
not a
talking
boomer.
about.
I'm a Gen X.
I'm. Go ahead.
No, I don't get. But we want to get.
Part your beard down the middle, Daniel.
We want to
I
get
wasn't
it.
take anything offensive other than like your hair.
Calling me a boomer?
Listen, you look super young, but your hair looks super old. No, I'm not saying that. No,
Wow.
the definition of hair that's not down the middle is old person hair.
Oh,
She's saying
okay.
she can't do down the middle.
I'm close, though, is what
She's
I'm
close.
saying.
I know,
Yeah.
but the
Close,
fact that you
man.
can't get there. Look, I'm not Father Time over here. I'm just telling you.
I don't watch Euphoria, but I see people tweeting about it. So my sense is that Gen Z are on drugs constantly. And I think that if they were, all feeling all loopy, they would think her hair is parted in the middle. That's how close it is.
I think your hair looks great, Wendy.
They would offer her
I
their
was
drugs.
hoping that this whole podcast would just be compliments to me. So this
I think
is
it looks
perfect.
great.
Here
I
comes
love
one.
compliments.
When my hair was really long, there is a part of the hair that I enjoy because I never wanted to like do it myself. So I would just go out into the world, my hair would dry, and then at some point I would notice it, and it would be all over the place. Like it would just be parted where it had chosen to, and sometimes I'd grab it and kind of like, all right, that's absurd. But that off-center one like that, when it naturally like parted itself there, I'd be like, yeah, that's how it should be. That to me, there's something. The center is too precise. There's something about it that's too weird. It's off-putting, and it's the off one. That's where it should be.
I think it works. I think that's
I'm
kind
going for off-putting. That's what I want to be my vibe.
Oh,
You know when someone
then
wears
you gotta
like
go
a stocking cap
yeah.
with a logo? You don't want the logo right in the front. You want it right where the part is. Just there's something about that, like not quite over the eye, just like inside of the eye. Draw a line from the inside of your eye up. That's where your part should be.
And I think she's done it.
Yeah, I agree.
So kudos on your part.
Thank God I got another compliment. I love it.
I know they make you
It
comfortable.
made me so comfortable.
I'm going to try to
I
do a
love
center
it.
part one of these days. I feel like
You should go. Wait, you probably have a hair lady that you like, but probably already.
Well, I recently went to Daniel's hair person and I did like it. And I was like, maybe she'll be my hair lady. But do you have a recommendation for a hair person? Because I'm always, send me your hair person.
And what I like too is it's not in a salon. She has her own private space.
Ooh, that's
So I like and she has told me one time she canceled because one of her clients had a COVID exposure or had COVID. So I feel like she's going to tell you because you're like trapped in a room with her. So you are going to get COVID if she has it. So
right.
I feel like she's very,
You call it a room? I thought when I
it
saw
is
you,
kind
you
of
were,
a room.
I-
Oh,
it
go
looked like
ahead.
you were in.
Go ahead, David. No, I want to hear it. I didn't realize you were doing a bit and I stopped you.
That's okay. No,
I want to hear it too.
I was gonna say she was in the front of a station wagon and the stylist was in the back seat. And it was generous to call it a room. But
Yes, my hairstylist comes and gets me in a car.
It's a mobile hairstylist.
And then we drive around. Yeah, while she cuts my hair, I drive as fast as I can. She's in training. That's what she's going to try to do is cut race car drivers' hairs. So I'm helping her. I get a free haircut she comes in her station wagon. Then I get in the front. She sits in the back with her big scissors, really big, sharp scissors. And she tries to cut my hair while we drive because she wants to cut in the Indy 500. That's her dream.
Why are the scissors
Prestigious.
so big?
To make it extra dangerous. Like if she can do that for me, then she can cut an Indy race car driver's hair. Cause I'm not going to go 215 miles an hour like they do.
Right.
But but by making it bigger, sharper scissors, and then I just get on the freeway, I go 90, 95, cutting in and out of lanes. Then we go drive Mulholland.
And has it always worked out?
I mean, I'm here.
And your hair looks good.
Thanks.
So
yeah, I mean, I think she can make it. I think she can cut everyone's hair in the Indy 500 like she's dreaming of.
I don't want to get a ticket, but I do want to get one of these haircuts.
Yeah, you do. So I'll send you her name and number.
Thank you.
I don't know whether you want me to say her name on a podcast in case people are local, then they can go to her, or whether that's like bad.
We're gonna gatekeep. I'm on TikTok now. Yeah, and that's a term. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, unless someone wants a local hairstylist, then they can reach out to us.
Yeah, then I'll tell them because I love her. She's great.
Yeah.
I'm finally happy with my hairstylist.
I need help figuring out something. This is totally by the way, I am going to share with you guys a conversation that should happen off mic, and that a conversation that I shouldn't even run this by you guys. I should just figure it out on my own. And by the way, I think when I knew Wendy back when she was majoring in nuclear war, I think one of my key qualities was that I could not make any decision without it wasn't even decisions. My entire life involved making other people listen to a conversation that went like this. And then he said this, and then I went like this, and then he said this. What do you think it means? Is that who I was, Wendy?
I literally only remember that with respect to one person that you frequently had to discuss with me. A gentleman.
A gentleman who was older, or a gentleman, wait a minute, they were both older. A gentleman who was very much older, or a gentleman who was just
here, I can tell you. Oh, wait, yes, this one. Remember that?
I don't.
Yes, and then a second one, you're right, later on, who was very much older.
I don't know. Wait, I don't know what that square was that you just made.
Quants.
It looks like a letter and a number.
Oh, yes. Okay. That's who I mean. But then,
I'm sorry,
anyway,
Daniel. Sorry you have to hear about this.
Yes.
You're better than all of them.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so much better.
Wherever sorted past.
Both those people that you're talking about, Wendy, I think probably like the first 2 years of college were spent talking to. I mean, it was just nonstop. And for that, I'm sorry. But anyway, okay. So tomorrow I'm supposed to interview Kelly Martin and Chad Lowe of Life Goes On, former show Life Goes On. And then there's a reboot coming out. And they have a podcast together. So I just got an email though from Kelly saying like, I'm so sorry. She seems delightful, by the way. She's like, I'm so sorry to do this, but something just came up and I can't do tomorrow. Can we reschedule? Or just Chad could do it. Chad Lowe, who I had a massive crush on when I was younger. So my question is, again, this is something that
I'm going to stop you right there. It's not even a question because he'll be alone, and this is now your chance.
I know. So there's part of me that's like, yes, I could just reschedule and not have to like put on makeup and be present tomorrow. But another part of me is like, but a one-on-one with Chad Lowe and then later a one-on-one with Kelly Martin, those are two good episodes. But you know what? I just answered my own question. But a one-on-two with both of them would also be a good episode. What to do?
Just a reminder, honey, if you hit it off with Chad Lowe, the only person we've agreed that you can leave me for is Randy Quaid.
Is who?
Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid.
I thought it was Mandy Patinkin.
So you can have him. No.
I'm into that. I'd like to leave my husband for Mandy Patinkin.
Daniel wants to leave me for Mandy Patinkin. We're all.
I get that. Strong vibes with Mandy Patinkin.
Okay, so Tony, you're in favor of just going forward with just Chad?
Well, that was my.
You're joking.
My real answer.
He's doing goofs.
Yeah, I was
one of his famous goofs.
Yes,
Tony and his practical jokes.
That's right. You know,
he's the original Impractical Joker.
Chad Lowe, so. Yeah, I might replace that guy that just left.
Yeah, he's going on Impractical Jokers.
Oh no,
doing one of his improv everywheres.
Yeah, I don't know because I also saw that email right before and
right.
Yeah, I just assumed you would probably reschedule because it would probably be good to have them together. But I can understand the wanting to split them up because then you get 2 episodes.
Or I have them together and then later split them up and then I get 3.
Ooh, there you go.
Or I start a new podcast separately with all of them and I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a win-win. Does anyone have any strong feelings about this thing that I'm forcing everyone to discuss, even though it's a me situation?
I think that it's just a good problem to have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I couldn't get past the idea of like interviewing someone. That's not in my skill set. So I don't know what to do because I would be very nervous to do either of those things. So good luck.
Well,
out there.
I will say, again, letting everyone behind the curtain and forcing people to think about my problems, which are good problems to have and things that I could. If I interview the two of them together, then basically for research, I can do some light Googling of each of them and listen to their podcast, which I've already done. But if I'm going to do Chad Lowe solo, then I feel like I should have ahead of time done a real deep dive and like be real up to speed on him. So that would be an argument for postponing. What, Tony?
You want to be able to impress him. Yeah.
Right. Although I always think they'll be impressed when I'm like, in this interview from 1984, you said this, but I was recently a guest on a show and they're like, I read that you said blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this doesn't feel good to me. It just makes me feel like you did a Google search of my name and now I feel uncomfortable. So
Yeah,
that was sort of a revelation.
Yeah, I was going to turn the lens toward Allison Rosen and find out what some of your tricks are, because Wendy was saying it's not in her skill set. When I think about just chatting with someone, I do no prep. So I wouldn't even call it an interview. I prefer to have just like a conversation, and if they unearth things. But doing a podcast, like when I do Space Cave, sometimes I'll have someone on and they're under the guise that I am interviewing them. And so they give these kind of rote answers. Do you get that sometimes where like they've been making the rounds?
Yeah.
They kind of just... they send out an answer that you're like, who are you talking to? And it's so much harder now with Zoom, because if it were in person, I'd be like, hello.
Right.
You're not talking to a human here.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes I do. Yeah.
Where do you find like the too much research is like a bad thing, or some research? Where do you fall there?
I have experimented with both. I've experimented with a ton of research, and I've experimented with like no research. And I have found, for me, the more research, the better. It just makes me feel better, so that if all of a sudden something happens in the interview where like that makes my adrenaline go and I suddenly get nervous, I suddenly lose my train of thought, that I have this thing to fall back on. What I do find completely stymies me, and I've talked to other interviewers assuming this was going to be like a common problem, but it turns out it is just me. If they've written a book and I read that right before I have them on the show, like right before, then every question I think to ask, I already know the answer. And then I'm like, well, now what do we talk about? But the audience hasn't read the book at all, but I don't want them to think I haven't. It's like, it's this weird thing that totally hamstrings me. Anyway, Wendy, I bet you would actually be a great interviewer. But I think I'm
okay with talking with people, but if I didn't know them and I had to, like, if you said tomorrow, like, you have to interview this celebrity, I'd be like, no. Wait, is Patty Lupone going to be on the reboot?
I don't know. They had her on their podcast, though. Their podcast is called The Big Break. I don't think she's going to be a regular on it. I'm talking out of my ass.
I loved that show growing up. I was a big fan.
It was a good show. I was an extra on that show.
You were?
Yeah, and I talked about that on the show. And Ray Morgan, one of super listener, Ray, actually, he doesn't have what's Ray Morgan's nickname? Someone's get him one. He found a screen grab of it, so we have a screen grab of me in the background of Life Goes On. Ooh. People at the texting level.
Well, as a child, I saw my friend on TV, my future friend, and I didn't even know. I wonder if I got like a shiver.
Right?
My future.
What am I feeling?
What am I feeling here?
Okay, you guys, it's time for, again, I don't want anyone to get canceled like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, but it is time for Yes Please or Oh Please, where we're going to talk about something controversial, and I don't want diplomacy. I just want your spicy hot takes, regardless of what happens.
He said, yes, please, give me some of that. Oh, please, that's much crap.
Deviled eggs.
I'll jump
eggs
right
that
in.
have been deviled.
Yes, please.
I'll jump right in and say, no, get the fuck out of here. I'm not a big egg guy in general. And no desire for deviled eggs ever.
Like, would you kick them out of bed?
Yeah, for sure.
Would you kick someone out of bed
They wouldn't
for
get
eating
near
them
my
in bed?
They wouldn't even get in my house. I don't even have
Oh.
a house. I live in an apartment, so that'll really tell you something.
But what if someone showed up with deviled eggs?
Do I have to eat one?
I don't know. It's that kind of thing to get you to eat one. It would be like you'd have to be forced.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Have you
know.
ever had one?
Yeah, it's been a
Okay.
very long time. Admittedly, I was very young, and I was much
Yeah.
pickier when I was younger. So it maybe, but yeah, I just in general though not a huge egg guy. So
I'm the same.
yeah.
Not an egg fan, not a mayonnaise fan, and I think there's both.
Yes.
But I will say in the last like 5 years, maybe I've had deviled eggs that are like a fancy appetizer at a couple of nice restaurants. And I like talked myself into trying one and they were good. But I think if I just saw one at a party and I didn't know its origin, I don't know. No,
All right.
Yeah, they just kind of gross me out in general.
Yeah. I like scrambled eggs, but short of that, I'm not an egg guy.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
Daniel.
Oh yeah, I'm with Tony and Wendy on this one. I'm not a big fan of hard boiled eggs in particular. I like eggs other ways, but the hard boiled, there's really nothing appealing about it
Yeah.
to me. And then like I've been to 1,000 potlucks in my life, like at least 1,000, maybe 10,000, and every single one.
1,000.
Somebody.
So when did he?
How
did he
many
even go to
days have you
school?
been
That's
alive?
30 years.
Yep. There were days when I would go to 5, 6 potlucks. I mean, cool as fuck.
Why? Why that many?
Well, my parents were fans of potlucks, and so we would just get we'd wake up in the morning and look at the local newspaper and look at all the potlucks, and then we'd make the rounds. But here's what I want to point out about it. Someone always brings deviled eggs. There's always deviled eggs at a potluck. And I learned to hate deviled eggs mostly because I decided I didn't like them, and then they were always in front of me. And so that made me hate them more because I wanted them to not be an option. And then recently you made me try one and it was okay.
I did.
Yeah, it's okay. But like everyone needs to chill
Wait,
out. Like this is what I'm
I
saying.
did?
This is what I'm saying. If you're going to a potluck,
I did, or Wendy
maybe
in her
don't bring
grass
the deviled
suit.
eggs. What?
Was it me that made you try it, or was your other lover Wendy wearing her grass suit?
When I rise up out of the grass, a plate of deviled eggs in each hand. The listeners can't see, but I'm doing a very good imitation of when I get up out of the grass, waving my arms
I
about.
realize you do a cool head thing. Like,
Yeah, I do,
Yeah.
because I want to be a little spooky, you know? Yeah, Daniel likes his grass a little spooky.
Look, deviled eggs on a table with other kinds of food, not appealing. Deviled eggs being carried by sentient mound of grass,
that you're gonna
For some
have sex
reason-
with?
yes, for
We
some
don't
reason
have
extremely
sex.
appealing.
Wait,
I
what?
buy him clothes.
She buys me underwear.
I thought you
I buy
also.
her- No, Allison, I would never. That's your husband. I appear as grass. He looks at me out the window. He has a deviled egg. I order him some underwear, and we're done.
Then
Let's be
why
honest.
does he stare at
I
the?
have a great moral fiber.
Why does he
Wendy-
stare at the
Never.
grass with a boner?
She's
Then
confused.
Because he finds it erotic, but we don't do anything about it.
I
so
was.
he wolfs down these eggs and then you immediately go shopping. Or you just have clothes there.
I will order him some underwear on my phone, and then I show him, and then I lay back down in the grass and wait for night to fall or morning, depending on when I showed up. I like to spend some time in the grass, and then I go home.
Oh, this is so much more wholesome. I'm Daniel. I'm
Yeah.
sorry for
I
the
can't believe
dirty
you
look.
thought that we were.
I
you know.
misunderstood. I misunderstood. I
Yes,
thought that
right.
I bought pants for Jeff, your husband, and then to get back at me, you slept with Daniel. I didn't know you,
I
it was
just-
more
we're
tit for
having
tat.
an affair, but it just involves me laying in the grass dressed as grass,
I get
standing
it.
up. He looks out the window fully engorged. Don't get me wrong. And then he has an egg. I order him underwear. I show him what I ordered, and then I lay back down, and then later I leave.
There's nothing weird
ask
about
this
it.
almost every time, but everyone knows about it now. Why continue with the grass? You could just knock on the door at this point.
No, he likes it that way. It's a game played between two adults. You know what I mean?
Okay.
This is sophisticated stuff, David. I
I'm
don't
feeling a lot of judgment.
What, Daniel?
It's two
Daniel and I
adults, and I
do.
feel like it's four adults because there are other partners who potentially
Right.
would
Well,
have-
this all started with Allison buying clothes for Jeff. And
I don't know what
she
got
knew
into
what
me.
she
I just
was
had to buy him
doing.
pants.
She knew what she was doing when she started that shit. And now
That's
I serve.
fair.
I invited it.
Yes,
And you know what? That's why I chose deviled eggs as today's yes please or oh please, because I wanted to just bring
Get
it all
out
up
there. Yeah. Now I serve eggs to her husband both as and on the lawn.
while shimmying on the lawn. Okay,
Yeah.
David, you were the lone yes please, because I gotta say how I feel, but let me hear more about your yes please.
Yeah, and it pains me to hear. You know, we live in a society where people go get a bunch of crap at IKEA and they don't like handmade furniture. They don't like crafted things, beers, handmade wooden carved spoons, and deviled eggs. People have to scoop out parts and put them in a bowl and use a scalpel and razor around the edge of the egg and crack it open so it's two halves like little boats. And then they take what they've whipped together and they form a little shape. And no one bothers to get a magnifying glass and look closely, but even when they sprinkle different spices on the top to give it some pizzazz. A lot of times those are in the shape of various islands around our planet. And no one takes the time, let alone eats them. And so I savor each deviled egg and I really appreciate it. And to those people who show up at a potluck and watch everyone not even lift the edge of the saran wrap that covers their creation. And they just have to stand there and go, it's okay. I only spent about 40 hours on these.
Right.
Just ignore them. It's fine. Oh, you're eating some Ritz crackers. That's fine.
I only sliced gherkins and placed a sliver of a pickle on each one.
Yes.
It only took me
now if there
2
was a
hours.
pickle on it, I'd get interested.
Well,
I didn't know people put pickles on them.
I do. I don't know if
Oh,
it's
yeah.
common. Sometimes I do. Look, I am also a yes, please. Deviled eggs, bring them on. Growing up, we had a special deviled egg plate. Maybe it was even on my parents' registry. It had a porcelain chicken in the center and it had 12 little divots for the eggs.
Cool as fuck.
I have made them different ways. I believe the traditional deviled egg is just mayonnaise and yolk mashed up. I'm also not really a mayonnaise fan. So given my history
There's not
as
mustard in it?
yeah, there's a little mustard, but I like to make them just a
Paprika.
tiny yes, and paprika on the top. I like to make them just a tiny bit of mayonnaise, sometimes not even mayonnaise. Sometimes I just wait, no, what am I saying? Sorry. It's the amount of yolk I put in that like sometimes I'll put in more and sometimes I just put in a tiny bit of yolk, but it still has various other things in it, mostly mustard, a little bit of mayonnaise, a little bit of yolk, but some people use all the yolk. That's like more traditional. And then as Dave pointed out, it really is a labor of love to get that perfect half of an egg, which is why if I'm just making it for myself, it looks like shit. But I think it's good. And it holds up well to a couple spritzes of I can't believe it's not butter. And yes, paprika. And then also, you want to put them in the refrigerator. Everyone has, except for Dave, has a look on their face like they can smell something bad.
I think it's because you gulped when you said, I think it's good. And it was kind of sad. It was kind of like when anyone gulps.
It is sad.
And I'm
It's
happy
sad
with
when you-
I'm just worried
how
about that. I
things are
can't
going.
believe it's not butter. I'm very worried. I thought that wasn't made anymore.
Oh, it's made. I stopped using it for years, but I'm back, baby.
Do you spray it on
Okay.
the eggs?
Well, it depends. Am I making deviled eggs or am I just eating hard-boiled egg whites? Then I spray it on those. You know what? I was eating a ton of eggs. Daniel looks so disgusted.
The idea of the smell of a hard-boiled egg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like-
it's the sulfur smell.
I love a
it smells
hard-boiled
like
egg.
farts. I mean, you might as well have like
Gross.
tiny. I'm gonna go to this potluck and I'm gonna bring tiny little mason jars where I farted in them, and then I'm gonna sprinkle paprika on it.
Really,
And put a little
spooky
gherkin on it.
mental haunted house.
I used to eat hard-boiled eggs all the time. And then I just stopped. So I haven't in a while. I even put my little egg steamer thing that I put it away because I've been off of eggs for a little while just for no reason other than just switching it up. But yeah, hard-boiled, deviled eggs. Yes, please. So I like them so much. Sometimes I don't even put them in the refrigerator to chill properly beforehand. And I feel like I could count on one hand the number of potlucks, maybe two, number of potlucks I've been to in my life. Not a ton.
This is starting to feel like you started a podcast just to have an excuse to talk about deviled eggs.
Well, you know what I would prefer to talk about? The best coffee that I've ever had that doesn't even involve a coffee machine or heavy machinery or anything. This podcast is sponsored by Cometeer. Cometeer is the first coffee you melt to make. It's delicious quality coffee that's ready in seconds. Cometeer's freshly brewed coffee arrives flash frozen inside the world's first 100% curbside recyclable capsule. It's a super simple way to melt your way to hot or iced coffees, lattes, and so much more. No more machines or heavy equipment needed. It's simply incredible, fuss-free, mess-free coffee. So what it is it's coffee that arrives in these little recyclable I was going to say aluminum. I don't know if it's actually made out of aluminum, but it's a little silver looking capsule, and coffee engineers, people who know how to make the best coffee ever, make the coffee and then they freeze it and it arrives frozen, and then you can either put it in the refrigerator the night before so it defrosts, which I've done that, or you can just put it into your hot water or cold water, whether you want iced coffee, whatever you want, whatever coffee drink you want to make, including just Americano. And then it melts, and it is, when I took a sip, I was like, this tastes like the most expensive, delicious coffee one could buy at a coffee place where they overpay for coffee, but you won't here. It's like, this is coffee made by someone who wears a lab coat and has a beaker. It's really delicious. And I like all the different kinds that we received. And I'm blanking on the name of my favorite one. It's like
the Brazilian
cake lady.
Cake lady.
Yeah, that's my favorite. But they're all really good. So Cometeer brings you the best coffee on the planet. It's incredible, but don't just take my word for it. Experience it for yourself and try the coffee you melt to make, brewed exclusively in partnership with award-winning roasters. We've got a special deal for you. Save $20 off your first order when you sign up at cometeer.com/bestfriend. That's Cometeer, COMETEER.com/bestfriend, cometeer.com/bestfriend. And we thank Cometeer for sponsoring the podcast. I also want to tell you guys about Good Chop. It's America's online butcher. You get a flexible monthly subscription plan for high quality American meat and seafood. You can choose from a medium or large plan and enjoy your favorite cuts of beef, chicken, pork, and seafood. It's delivered flash frozen for freshness and sealed with dry ice inside an insulated box. We just got a shipment of it. We got Daniel, do you remember all the cuts of beef? We got filet mignon. I heard Daniel unboxing it. All the fancy cuts.
It was really good.
I heard a bunch of. I heard filet mignon. I heard. Was it tri-tip? I wish I could remember all the names.
We got tri-tip. We got. I think we got a New York strip.
Fancy beef cuts. We got
a ribeye.
That's what I'm saying. Chicken breast. We got scallops. I think we got salmon. And Daniel made the chicken last night, and it was so good. It's super convenient, super delicious. The seafood is sustainable and wild caught. The beef, you can order well marbled Angus choice and prime cuts, or get delicious 100% grass fed steaks, whatever you prefer. Go to goodchop.com/bestfriend100 and use code bestfriend100 to get $100 off your first 3 boxes. Again, that's goodchop.com/bestfriend100 and use code bestfriend100 to get $100 off your first 3 boxes. Good Chop, America's online butcher. Okay. I think it is time to say hello and no, it's not. I was going to say it's time to say hello and welcome to our Patreon people, but first I need to hear about Wendy was in a situation where she got Zoom bombed.
I did. Yes. I was in my first meeting where I experienced a Zoom bomb.
Was it Jeffrey Toobin?
No, it was like a group of men, of course. Sorry, men, but come on, guys. You do a lot of the bad stuff.
Classic men.
We're just out here trying to make up for the thousands of years we didn't get to do anything. Women are just, we got too much to do to be doing the bad stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a Zoom bombing. I never, and it was very like, they tried to be very, it was, okay, I'll tell you where I was, but I'm going to tell you in sort of a roundabout way. I was in an online support group type thing for family and friends. Everyone will know which one I mean.
Ooh.
Family and friends.
When we talk about hairstylists, I also, if this is what I think it is, I would like to ask you about this because I've been looking for an online one of those and haven't known where to start. Okay.
Yes.
Carry on with you. Okay.
And I think the reason I'm not saying exactly what it is because I knew, and one of the like rules is you don't like publicize it.
Right.
That's one of the traditions or whatever.
At the level of podcast.
At the level of podcast.
Yes.
And so it's for, I personally, and I'm not saying this to be superior. I personally am not struggling with, like an addiction or something like that, but my life is affected by others who might be. And so I've been going to this one. And that's what shocked me. It's like, it's this nice gathering of people trying to deal with their problems. And we got Zoom bombed and the group, and it was like, I'm guessing like 6 or 8 dudes, and they were trying to kick them out. And then there's a part where you can kind of like share and they'll unmute you. And the guy was like, I'm going to jizz on your face. And I was like, oh my God, people are here to get help. Like, what are you doing? It made me feel like somehow like the scrabbling evil center of humans had like gotten into our Zoom. like an actual demon was on the Zoom. It was crazy. They eventually kicked them out and stuff like that. But everyone was really calm about it. But I was like, oh, I didn't really know what a Zoom bombing was.
I don't know what that is.
I witnessed it.
You were on a hellmouth.
Yeah, it's like they were writing all kinds of, but the crazy part was like they were writing racial slurs in the chat and then saying sexual stuff out loud. And I was just like, what's the fun?
But it was
I don't understand.
A group of them all in one room or like all like 6?
Probably different users. It's probably like, I'm guessing it's like young guys who think this is somehow like funny or interesting to do. It was really weird, but I felt bad for the people running the meeting because they were just kind of like, scrambling.
So did these guys get the number?
I think it's because because there's a link that goes out, and it's a big meeting. A lot of people have it, and so I think somebody somehow they got it out of someone's email or got it, or maybe like there's some way to hack into Zoom and see like a big meeting that's going on that's an open meeting, and so you can just get in there. But it was my adrenaline was like racing because I was just like, what's happening? So
now, is this a thing that happens a lot? I'd never heard of this.
I think it does, but I had never experienced one. People talked about it a lot early in the pandemic, and I had never experienced one in my life. And so I was like, oh, this is what this is. I was almost like, I hated that it happened, but I was like, okay, now I know what this means when people have said it. So
were they showing their faces?
No, the one guy who activated and said like the jizz comment or whatever, it looked like it was some kind of weird nude picture, like screensaver thing. It looked horrific. So I don't know.
Wow.
I'm wondering
what it was.
If you do that, who do you tell that's impressed?
Right.
Who reacts and goes, oh, really? Oh, hell yeah.
I was wondering if it's like the extremely toxic version of prank calling. Because to me, the voice of the guy who activated sounded like an older teen or something. And I'm like, do these guys think this is? But like the racial slur element is really like, had it just been like the sexual stuff, I kind of would have been like, okay, this is like prank calling. They're 17. They think it's funny to say jizz to a bunch of adults or whatever. But the racial slur element of it is like, no, this is very bad. Like that's who says this. It's like,
were they using the worst of the racial slurs?
Absolutely. Yes. That is what was being typed in the chat. And it was very disturbing.
Maybe they were just comedians, Wendy.
Yeah, just comedians that I didn't understand them. I was in a
haunted house.
I was in their spooky mental haunted house, and I didn't understand that I was supposed to be challenged by it and not.
Yes, they're not there to
like
make you comfortable.
Yeah, what conclusion did you come to? Because you just
I need to draw my own conclusions.
Okay, let's say hello and thank you and welcome to the new Patreon people.
Allison wants to say thank you to a couple of special people out there who signed up to be new patrons. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen.
All right. Hello, welcome to, and I hope you guys are warming up your voices, Wendy and Dave. Okay. Hello and welcome to Lloyd Parley. Trice Sanders, hello, welcome. He increased his pledge. Jamie Chatrone converted to an annual subscription. Rebecca Johnson, hello, welcome. Lindsay Fields, hello, welcome. Keith Repsher, hello and welcome. Christine Hancock, hello and welcome. Rye, hello, welcome. You are at the texting level. So now that you are at that level, a bunch of post should be visible to you and you can see the number. Text me or reach out to me if you can't find the number. Am I saying this right? Amy Quillia Stapleton, hello and welcome. And Lori Hazelwood signed up for an annual subscription, is also at the texting level. Hello and welcome. Okay, I'm going to put all these names in the chat and then oh boy, here we go. Tony, tighten this up because it's just going to be me.
David, may I kick this one off today? It won't be to your disadvantage, I promise.
I strongly don't believe that, but sure, of course, yes.
I think we can see it together. I think you're gonna see what's up. You're gonna know what's happening.
Okay.
Start of the song. This is the silence that we all observe while Allison's typing, and it's just some time for yourself to think about what you've done. You know
Take inventory.
This is
Think
the
about
closest
it.
you can
You're
get
bad.
to like old airline being on their chat right before technology started to kind of get pretty advanced, where you would just hear keys being typed, and then 10 seconds later it would just say yes, and then you'd be like, okay. And then you'd wait because one name has shown up, and we've heard probably 1,000 keystrokes.
So many.
Yeah, I decided to just put them all. What if then when I hit return, just one more name is there?
Oh, good. Greg's here.
All right.
Okay. All right. Ready, David? Here we go.
I'm ready.
This week's Patreon has so many names, but which names are the real names? Gonna say a bunch of names. Which ones are real? Is it Lloyd Parley or Garm Staple Barm? Which name was real? Take it, David.
I don't know which names are real. I'm gonna think about a few names that I know are on this list, like Trice Sanders and Goomba Thune, Norma Cachano and Dinah Through.
And then there's maybe some of these names that I'm about to say are real, but maybe they're not. Which ones are real? Jamie Chatrone or Bobby Cantaloupe, Rebecca Johnson or Gargamel. Take it, David.
Gargamel Stevens doesn't even know that their friend Lindsay Fields is on the same list as them. Gargamel Stevens and Luke Dacamba. No, with Keith Repsher and Hamba Luvens. They both live together.
You've got Christy Hancock, but also Lulu Jarm. And then there's someone named Rye, or is that a real name? We'll never know. There's also Blarn Fargle Man. There's also Cream Bomb Noom. There is Amy Kulia Stapleton, but is she real? There's no way we could know.
There's an also, in addition to Rye, there are names like Try and High and Lie. Those are also names on this list, like Lori Hazelwood, but does she exist? We cannot know if these names are real. Bum Cathubian, what a deal. Got on Patreon, saved a bunch of cash. You should do the same, but do it fast.
Names! We did it.
Beautiful.
That was beautiful. Oh my God. Inspired, beautiful. I loved it. Let's hear an iTunes comment of the week. Now, Daniel, I sent you two. Yeah. The longer one, have we already done it? Because if I have you read a self-aggrandizing comment twice, that's super embarrassing. Like this conversation. We could just do the short one.
I don't know.
Okay, great.
I don't really pay attention to this show.
Wonderful.
Allison wants your iTunes comments. Allison wants them, yes she does. Please leave her some iTunes comments and don't forget to click 5 stars.
I'm going to read both of them because the first one's short and nice.
Okay.
Okay. The first one is Hey, 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 Go F Yourself by No Pants Jim. Love the show. More Renee Colvert, please. She's the cutest. We haven't had Renee on in a while. Yeah,
She's coming on next week. No, in 2 weeks.
The next one, My Best Friend's Podcast, ... by
I think it's
Amy
podcast.
Sosa. Do you really think that's what
I
it's
suspect it's podcast. I've been playing Wordle. I think it's podcast.
Okay.
Podcast is too long for Wordle.
Long-time listener since about 2012. During these difficult times, Allison has always been a source of comfort for me. This is an engaging podcast where she always dishes out the details, even at her own expense, lol. She's excellent at the interviews, as Allison is very easy to get along with. Funny and laid back. The Thursday gang is always entertaining, and I look forward to it. When I need more errand, I sometimes dig back into the archives circa 2015 when she was let go by her former employer and really picked up the heat with the Kim Jones Heller Chef Jeff and her husband, Daniel, rolls eyes. Keep up the good work, fart jokes and all, heart.
Thank you for your very nice comments. Leave us a nice comment. Maybe Daniel will read it. And you can just do that on Apple Podcasts. Or, that's where I go to select the comments for this segment. I mean, my assistant does it, but but I think now you can pretty much leave a review or a rating on wherever you're listening. So do that because it helps out the show. Daniel, are you suggesting I'm not easy to get along with?
Where are you getting that?
Because you went like that. I heard a little something.
Oh, yes, that is what I'm suggesting.
Wow.
But it's not true. It's a joke. You're very easy to get along with.
I mean, these days I'm asleep almost all the time. You barely have to, interface with me. Anyone else sleeping, realizing that they would do best on like 13 hours of sleep?
No.
My mother-in-law is here, and I truly slept like 13, maybe not, maybe it was 11 hours. It was a ridiculous amount of sleep. And then I was like, oh my God, I feel so much better.
I would love to sleep that much. That sounds like an absolute dream. I'm not kidding.
Do you want me to send her over?
Please.
I mean, honestly, it's the greatest. My mom gets here and we get a couple nights of sleep. It's
because she does the early shift.
She gets up at like, what time does she get up? She gets up at like
I think
4.
She gets up at like 4:30 in the morning.
On her own.
On her own.
She goes to bed. She goes to bed early, wakes up early. I think she gets up a little later when she's here because she stays up until like 8:30 or something. But she loves it. And so then I woke up at 11:30 and I was like, oh, I'm a worm, but a well-rested worm.
Wendy,
and also
you must not get any sleep, right?
Jeff and I do is we switch off every night sleeping in, but that just means if it's not your sleep in morning, you get up at like 6:15 when the kids get up. If you're sleeping in, you can roll out of bed at like 7:15 for school stuff. But on the weekend, you might get an 8:30 if your body will allow you to sleep. But frequently mine won't. Like Jeff gets up, but then I'm already awake. So I just get a cup of coffee. And what I'll do is like watch a movie or something like that, which I never get to do. I'll watch like a whole entire movie or something and drink coffee and try not to feel guilty because the next morning's my morning. So it's fine. That's like a Saturday or Sunday.
I think we learned the trading off because that's what we do when we don't have Daniel's mom here. That's what we do with our mornings.
I don't understand how there are couples who don't, but that's just us. Some people like to, I don't know, they do their own thing. So
yeah, some families, everyone gets up.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds painful.
David, how's sleep for you these days with the little one?
Oh yeah.
I started drinking coffee.
Welcome
I've never
back.
been a coffee person in my life. So
really? Oh my gosh.
So I got one of those things that Allison had mentioned previously as like a trial thing. It was when I first started, I remember being with some friends and being like, do you guys drink coffee? And the wife did. And I was like, are you good at it? And she goes, what? Am I good at coffee? I was like, yeah. Like I like the idea that people know, the temperature to pour it over, or like how to have their beans roasted and all this stuff. And I don't think I'm to that level yet, but I try to like convince myself that getting up really early. I think coffee is just a Pavlovian thing. I don't really think it does anything like physically. I don't feel jittery ever. Even if I drink a ton of it, I never feel like all buzzy. But really? I start to like look, if I'm miserable.
Sounds like you're not good at it.
I'm not good at it, but I use it as sort of like, I would rather do anything than get out of bed right now. And then I'll be like, yeah, all right, I'll make some coffee. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I credit coffee with my entire career. I was like flailing in my 20s. And then, I was doing okay, but I couldn't get my shit together. And then Jeff and I started dating, and he was a coffee drinker, and I slowly switched from tea to coffee. And then I suddenly became very motivated and capable of a lot more work. And I'm not kidding that I'm like, I am basically on drugs. But it's just
stop the podcast and go get some cocaine.
Exactly. But really, it's just coffee. I think if I had to stop drinking coffee, I would no longer have a career. I truly believe that in my heart of hearts.
Wow.
Because on times when I try to quit, I just don't get as much done. It really works with my brain in particular. But all those studies are like, drink 5 cups of coffee a day. It's fine. It's actually good for you. So it's fine. I just
How many do you drink a day?
Oh, only like somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 4.
Okay. Because I'm like a 2 a day. I become a 2. I used to be like a 9 a day person. I was just
I would so much that you're not functioning probably.
Yeah, I would drink coffee all day, and I'd be like, it doesn't even affect me. And then I couldn't sleep at all, and I somehow like never put the two together. So I mostly
coffee at night. You would have a cup of coffee at night, and then be like, I can't fall asleep. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, when I was also recording in the evening or doing shows in the evening, and so always drinking coffee. Anyway, but recently, because I've been so tired, I've had that 3rd cup, and I find there's quite a payoff on the 3rd cup. I think I might need to be a 3 cup a day person.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to change.
I think for me, it's like just habit. I'm not sure I notice any effect from coffee in the morning.
You would notice.
I was actually getting a little tired of it, and this isn't just because they were a sponsor, but the Cometeer has given me a renewed interest in coffee just because it's really good, but it's also different and fun to like do your coffee differently. Like you don't need a machine. I kind of like the no fuss aspect of it.
I Googled that right when you were doing the ad. That's the first time I've ever done that. I was like, that sounds good. I might have to get some of that. If it's good.
There's lots of varieties.
Genuinely good, I really want
It's really good. It tastes like, it reminds me of, I can probably say this is not the ad. It reminds me of Intelligentsia or like those really
it's like that really good
high-end coffee places here.
Mm-hmm.
Tony, do you drink coffee?
I do every day. I think I've talked about this before. I've, for some reason, the last several years developed a weird. I don't really drink hot coffee anymore. I always used to, but now I'm like almost exclusively cold brew. Yeah.
How do you do it?
I usually just buy it. I've tried to make it myself, and every time I've tried to do it on my own, I'm never happy with it. So I end up just buying it, or I go somewhere and get it. And I'm not a coffee snob at all, though. Like it's just really like it serves like it's like a function thing for me. So it's just like I get up and have some right away, and then on with the day.
Listen, you guys. For most people, the new year means rethinking how they take care of themselves. Native makes it easy to switch to a personal care brand that makes all their products with simple ingredients. I feel like, Wendy, did you put on, was it Allie Ward? Someone, I had Native deodorant in the studio the last time they were on.
It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
It wasn't you. I think it was Allie Ward, I think.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah, someone put it, I think she put it on because it smells so good. Well, now I have this coconut and vanilla scented Native deodorant, and it I would like to eat. I would not recommend eating it, but it smells so good. Coconut and vanilla scented aluminum-free deodorant. It's been a customer favorite for years. Now Native is on a mission to overhaul your entire hygiene routine. They create products that are made with simple ingredients like shea butter and coconut oil so you can smell great all day long. This deodorant checks a lot of boxes. Aluminum-free, 24-hour protection, zero residue on skin application, over 10 scents to choose from. They smell so good. This year, up your personal hygiene routine with Native. Go to nativedeo.com/bestfriend and use promo code bestfriend at checkout and get 20% off your first order. That's nativedeo, nativedeo.com/bestfriend, or use promo code bestfriend at checkout for 20% off your first order. All right. You guys, I think we've done it. What am I leaving out? How's anyone have any last things they feel we need to discuss? David, I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you.
Yeah, it does feel that way. It's nice to see all you guys.
Good to see you too. How's life? You're drinking coffee.
Yeah.
You're talking about coffee.
Yeah, I've been writing a bunch of little audio sketches and recording them, and that's been like a little fun way to just kind of reach out to people and not give them, sometimes I feel like some of the things we do, like, hey, you want to catch up and do like a Zoom hangout? And like Wendy was saying, just the digital kind of dread, like you get overwhelmed. So that's been kind of fun. Like, hey, let's just do like 10 or 15 minutes. And that has kept me sort of my mind occupied. So otherwise, I think things are as good as can be. It feels like the pandemic might, be getting so normal at this point that maybe we'll just like ride it in like a surfboard to the beach where we don't notice the last few waves or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. What, Daniel?
They just discovered new variants in rats in New York.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Perfect.
Cool.
So
And I love to kiss rats. So bad
That's like my whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
so who knows the fun ways it might mutate, but no, yes, you're right, David. I think it does feel like it's over, or at least coming to an end. Hopefully that's true.
God, I really want you guys to knock some wood right now, please. Please don't say that out loud without knocking some wood.
I know. Remember how much fun it was over the summer when we all got together, like in person?
I feel like maybe not next month, but the month after, right? We'll be back in person.
I think
I
so.
would think.
I need
hope.
in-person stuff so badly. I
know. We'll do it. We'll be back in person.
Right.
Well,
like Elliot is now vaccinated, and then it seems like they'll approve the vaccine for under 5.
That.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he just had his birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Happy birthday, Elliot.
Yeah.
I think he's a citizen of the world now. He's a 5-year-old.
Whoa.
I know. He's a big,
I
big guy.
I totally saw your post about his birthday, and I didn't put that together. Great.
No,
That's
you
awesome.
know. Right. So I think that they will then, it seems like they're going to approve it for the under 5 soon.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
great.
Yay. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. And I feel like follow me on social media at Allison Rosen, listen to Upworthy Weekly, blah, 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 and Childish. Wendy, where do we find you? What should we keep an eye open for?
I'm at Wendy Melano on Twitter. I'm at Great North Wendy the Great North Wendy, I think, on Instagram. And there's hardly ever anything on there because I don't know how to have a public facing Instagram that isn't just my kids. And then obviously watch Bob's Burgers. I'm still ready for that show. And then please check out The Great North. You can binge the whole show on Hulu or we're on Fox Sunday nights coming back February 27th. If you like the show, go on and give us a nice thumbs up or review on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever like that if you like it, because we're kind of new, so it's helpful. Or tweet to your friends about liking The Great North because we're new and nice to get. There's literally 500 scripted shows a year, so any way we can get ourselves out there is nice. So thanks.
To it. Wendy, I totally forgot to talk with you about your new running situation with your son that you've been posting about.
Right.
Next time you come on, I'm just gonna nonstop running discussion because I'm anti-run. So we'll get into that.
Okay.
David, what about you? Where do we find you? What should we look out for, etc.?
DavidHuntsberger.com is where all my stuff is. You can listen to podcasts I've done over the years, including Professor Blastoff, Space Cave, which is a weekly one I do where I interview scientists and artists. There's one up now with a musician and philosophy professor from Colorado State named Dominica Romagni. She's so great. And then episodes of These Are Those Tapes that I do with Wendy, a very serious, hard-hitting theater of the mind. She's embarrassed of it. She used to tell me I was embarrassed of it, but
yeah, now I've become
switched.
embarrassed.
Yeah,
it's a real spooky mental haunted house that we guide you through.
You
and draw your own
decision.
conclusions.
Yeah.
You
You can listen to my stand-up albums there, and I recently... the whole Spotify situation and the royalty, it's just an extension of Napster, basically. So try to support artists if you can. But you can see all that crap at davidhuntsberger.com and Big Nothingness. There are links to it both on Vimeo and YouTube. And it made some year-end top 10 lists, which
That's
was
so
kinda cool.
awesome.
So thanks to those of you who have watched it. I hope you enjoy it. That's it for
Congrats.
me.
Daniel?
You can just find me here on this show every week.
Quants on the snappy.
Yeah.
Quants on the snappy.
Great.
No, I'm starting a new venture called Quants University. And a lot of big minds, big thinkers are going to be involved. And you can join, and you can only pay for it with pictures of your naked body as NFTs.
Oh, wow. Like NFTs of your body or just pictures?
NFTs, and I own them.
Oh, you summoned Wendy from the grass.
Oh, no. Covered in grass with deviled eggs.
Tony, what about you?
Twitter and Instagram at
Tony Thaxton.
and Bizarre Albums, my podcast every Tuesday, and yeah, that's really about it. Not much happening in Thaxland right now.
Oh no, are we having a lull in Thaxland?
Yeah, it's real boring around Thaxland right now.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. Listeners, thank you
But
for
it's fax
listening.
season.
I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go.